Yeah. Hey kids! Welcome to, what day is it? It's a
Monday. If that's
Monday.
how it is. It's Monday. That's how it feels. It's Monday.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Talk Time. Oh, and I have my hype man right here. What do you got to say? Oh my goodness, I love you. All right. I'll see you soon.
So Mikey just texted me back. He said he's going to bed.
Okay. All right. So who do we got going on here? We have Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Noodles.
Noodles, no nudes.
Oh,
No
we got a
nudes.
backseat Jura, another Amy. Amy, what's up?
What?
Hi, Wayne. Good to see you, babe. We were running a little bit. Oh, we have a knick-knack. My beautiful girl. 1 second, okay? I just gotta.
Where'd it go?
Yeah. All right.
Look at my
monkey. While we're waiting for our special guest, Kelly, you said that there's something you want to play.
I found a video that I think everybody might be interested in. Oh, look, there's Miss Casey. So you know where'd she go? This moves so fast sometimes. Casey, because I got my bracelets.
Yes. If you guys want the free Karen Reed, we ain't got no quit bracelets, Casey is the way to go. If you need to get a hold of her, you can go through me. You can go through Kelly.
But only if you're serious.
And the
if
Justice
you're spam, we're not doing it. Only if you're serious, because it's to benefit Karen Reed. And remember, bracelets
we're doing a
like
vetting
these
thing.
They're $10 a piece or $11 a piece, I think it is. That's with shipping.
Right.
And it's because money goes to Karen. They're not $5 bracelets. They're $11. They're totally worth it. I got two, one for me and one for Declan, and Declan screamed, "Free Karen Reed!" as loud as he could. So,
yes. Hi, Catherine. Good to see you, honey.
Girl, Casey, I got this back. We ain't getting no spammers on you no more.
Yeah, no more spammers for Casey. Poor Casey. But if you do want them, you can get through to Casey, through me, or Kelly.
Casey, like and subscribe.
Go ahead.
Like and
subscribe!
Listen to the boy. Make sure you're liked and subscribe. He's my biggest hype man. He's my biggest fan.
Get mommy 1 million subscribers.
What about me?
Buddy, thank you. I know.
It's just mommy.
I think he sees us as a collective whole. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
all right.
This is what let me share what I found. You guys should have seen me this morning. It was ridiculous.
Yo, the trolls out on X are like coming in hot. They got nothing, and they're just.
Oh, I wanted so badly. I'm trying to get Coffin Deffer to block me, and it's not working. And like, every time I say something smart ass to her, and she doesn't do it, and I'm like, come on! Like the other day, she said baloney, and I was like, did you sing it so you could spell it too? You know you did,
right?
And didn't respond. And so today she posted something about the Menendez brothers, and she's like, this is why they're probably going to go free. And this is why people want the death penalty, because people forget how. Look, she won't block her either. Look.
Oh my God.
Noodles can't comment though. This is funny.
Oh my God, so funny. My backseat juror is like one of my faves. She's been my fave since like the dinosaur rage. Her name's also Amy. Great name. She won't block her either.
She could be even with your faves.
Well, you're my wife.
Okay.
Like, you're my wife.
Okay, of all people to be afraid of X, it's Penny.
Penny! Same! I don't do X. I don't do it.
Come on. Okay, so let me tell you guys. I used to be afraid of X. And then
She
I started
became a troll.
people. And then I realized I could just mute them or block them. I don't care. I don't have to hear what they say, but I can respond to them and make them feel like shit.
I exercise the block button on every social media platform there is. I could give a fuck about it.
You know, there's a thing called forgot password, right? Right where your username is, you hit forgot password and you can change it.
Bro, X didn't think I was me, and they made me jump through hoops to get my fucking account back, which I do have an account now. It's Amy Boston, if you guys want to go follow me.
Dave from
Dave
Boston
from the Laborers Union.
Hey.
My dude. Hi, handsome boy.
Betty said she forgot that too. So Coffin Upper made a Menendez post and said they'll probably go free because they're getting the resentencing hearing. Even though they did this horrendous, heinous crime, which they did, they admit to it. But I personally think that they've done their time and they should go free. I believe that, like, I've done a lot of research into it and I know what they've done. They've done a lot of good stuff.
Agree.
She posted, they both got their bachelors, like they've created programs within the prison. They've never gotten in trouble. They're both like, boom. And so I think, and
they have they have done a lot with the time that they've been locked up all those 30 years.
Their entire family supports them, but 2 people. Everybody else, the siblings of their parents, their aunts, uncles, all of them, everybody supports them. And so I think that needs to be counted. And so she said, this is why they need the death penalty, because people forget about these crimes too easily. And I was like, what did I say to her? I screenshot it. Yeah, I said, I hope they get out just to piss you off. That's what I said.
If we don't get Scott up here, just in case he's having technical difficulties, we could go over the last microdots video too, which is pretty fucking kick ass. So
yeah,
all right, I'm gonna start this one. All right, guys, buckle up.
This is from BN.
Good afternoon, everyone. Be in trouble here.
Left is the defendant's vehicle. And I do not know who the other 2 vehicles are.
Now watch Karen as she comes around the front of the vehicle and watch the circle.
What?
She has to take a big step over that big mound of snow.
Look how big a step that was.
Another thing to point out is
Look how big a step that was. That was not tiny. Like,
that was not tiny.
Yes, I'm winning.
Now, if you look at the tires there's not a lot of snow on the driveway itself, but there's a berm right there in the middle. So watch her step over that berm.
Whoa.
she has to take a big step over that big mound of snow.
That's
Another thing to point out is nobody is huddled around the rear tail light looking at it.
That looks nothing.
Not a single person. Not one. Not 2. Not 3. Not 1.
Nope. Not one.
Am I too loud? Am I too loud? Can you tell me if I'm too loud? I'm a loud person.
You're fine. I'm loud too. So look at the tires. Look at on all the cars. You can barely see it's barely covered.
Yeah.
It's not like it's really covered. It's just that berm in the middle that she had to step in. So
yeah, Mary says drifts of snow. Yeah.
Yeah.
During a blizzard, often it comes with high winds. It comes with drifting. It comes with all of those things. Oh. But from what I'm seeing right here, no one looked at anything, and there's barely any snow in the cars. She may have had to step over.
Right. If you look right by the front passenger door, there's melted snow right there. You can see the ground. You can't say that he was covered in snow unless he was in a drift himself.
Yeah. Agreed.
You can't
Agreed.
See so, all right, we're going to keep going.
Like there's any kind of problem. You have to keep in mind this is hours after the driveway dash cam video. And it's still snowing, but it's not really that hard. Now you will notice Mr. Reed starts brushing off the rear window. And about that time, Nathan comes through and he's going to step over the big pile of snow and he goes to do the window, but Mr. Reed's already done it. Slowed it down. Watch Mr. Reed. He goes to swipe the window as Nathan's coming through, and Nathan really.
Look how Nathan almost. Look at how deep it is, even for Nathan.
Yep.
Mr. Reed.
Well,
He goes to
cut
swipe
time out
the
for a
window as
second.
Nathan.
By the time this is happening, this has been hours and hours before John O'Keefe was discovered. When John O'Keefe was discovered, there was not much snow on the ground, and it was
hours
green under
after
him.
you said before.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. After, there was green grass underneath John.
Do you not have a link, sir?
Scott,
do you need a link?
Are you pulling a boomer on us? Because I'm about to come to Long Island.
Oh, don't make her come.
It's like a 5-hour drive. I'm down.
He's like, hi, Petty. That's not a blizzard. No, I mean, it's not.
Back,
he said he's
no,
backstage.
you're not
No, you're not.
backstage. Hit enter studio.
Yeah, hit enter studio. And you'll pop up and we'll see you. So
I'm like extra perched today. I'm not feeling too hot. So if I start drinking like an elephant, don't judge me.
Lucas got it. Long Island.
Exactly.
Let's see. Hi, Prince Lover. I didn't see you. How you doing?
Prince Lover, my girl.
Look who decided to join us.
Look who's here. We got retired NYPD Detective Scott in the hizzy. What's going on, beautiful?
Unmute. You have to unmute yourself. Or you just want us to stare at you. We could do that too.
Mommy,
what?
I'll say hi to Scott.
Hi, Caden.
I hear you.
I was like, we can just stare at you.
Hi, Caden.
Scott.
All right, he said hi,
Hi,
Caden.
Debbie.
All right.
Hey, Cal, what's happening?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's up, Trouble? I'm sorry,
us.
Double. Where's Trouble?
Trouble
She's
was,
not
she
here.
was in the chat earlier.
Yeah. So we're just going over this video about the fuckery that's happening in the Karen Reed case coming up to trial 2. And we're looking at this video of Nathan Reed and is that Mr. Reed?
Mr. Reed, yeah. Here, I can back it up so he can see.
We're going to back it up and back it up and get all your thoughts.
so
Look at you with a haircut. I'm digging it, Scott.
I know
you're looking handsome and everything.
Hash values.
Hi, hash values. All right.
What do we got?
I'm going to play it. So let's see.
Now you will notice Mr. Reed starts brushing off the rear window. And about that time, Nathan comes through and he's going to snap over the big pile of snow. And he goes to do the window, but Mr. Reed's already done it. Slowed it down. Watch Mr. Reed. He goes to swipe the window as Nathan's coming through. And Nathan realized it and raised his hand and was getting ready to get the window, not the taillight. Now we get to listen to Buchanan's answer. First of all, we don't see all the videos. Second of all, we don't see that side of the car. Only the person that got the original Ring video knows what was in the video because we can't tell from this angle.
I did not.
We don't know the truth because we can't see that side. The original video would have showed it, but the videos they are showing the jury are all cut up and doesn't show from the beginning to the end of what happened on that side of the car. Plus, nobody can get that close to it because of the big snow drift. It's about 18 inches deep, farther back, and probably closer to 18 to 24, closer to the rear bumper.
Look at Miss Reed's feet. Watch how she walked by just now. She's not anywhere near that berm, and look at the difference.
Farther back and probably closer to 18 to 24, closer to the rear bumper. I came up with that answer because farther back it comes up to Nathan's knees, right here.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I'm seeing this video.
Same. In a while, at least.
here's the interesting part. Look at the hood on John's car, and then look at the back window of John's car. Right there, that's a big snowdrift.
Yeah.
And then on the back window covering the taillight, that is another snowdrift. That snowdrift is completely covering his taillight, which on Karen's car would be the same. And she's got a ledge that sticks out right here. See how far that sticks out? That's going to...
That's another thing. So see how far it sticks out?
Yeah.
If it were
acted
to
as a
hit,
ledge.
it would have totally grabbed his whole side of his body at the same time. So if his arm were to hit there, it would have hit everything. There's no
Without a
way
doubt.
that would have missed him
Right.
at all.
Right. So Scott,
Catch the
I got
snow.
a question.
Shoot.
What are your? We're gonna start with. What are your thoughts on what we just saw?
We all know that Buchanan, Proctor, that they played with it, they tampered with the evidence. That's number one. Okay. This clearly shows that the snow was on the car and that the taillight itself, because of the shape of it, it acted as a shelf.
Right.
Right.
So it held the snow there.
Yep.
I mean, I don't trust those guys as far as I can throw them, and it's sad because I was one of them once, you know?
It is
Well,
sad.
And you want to believe in the good guys like you, and it's hard when the bad guys make it harder to believe in the good guys.
It really is. I mean, it's blatantly obvious what these guys did, and I mean, to go off on a tangent real quick for that audit to turn around and say that these guys did the best they can under the circumstances is the biggest crock I've ever heard.
Yeah. I don't. And for the audit committee to give them props.
Well, that's what I meant. The audit committee. I mean, they supposedly were cops. The one guy was a cop, if I remember correctly, for 9 years in Chicago.
Apparently, he was Mr. Fix-It.
Oh, without a doubt.
I saw an article that said that he was known as Mr. Fix-It.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Did you know that they had John's car fixed from the backing in before
Yeah.
the first trial?
Oh, I knew
And
that.
so, yeah, Paul O'Keefe
Paul
is
took
the
it.
one
I
that
knew
did it.
that.
And I think he drives it, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
Not giving
shock
a
me.
shit.
It is his
shock me.
car.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me, but if
You know, God
but
forbid
here's
he
the thing: why would you? First of all, if that car was supposed, that car technically is evidence. So why did they allow him to take it? It's evidence that would have been used against Karen.
They never even looked at that car.
Exactly, they didn't even look at it, and they keep saying, "Oh, the damage would have been done." Stop.
And the same thing with Tim Taylor's car when the dog died. That should have been evidence, and instead they sent him home and they had it cleaned.
Well, now for
Right.
it's not the first time that something like that's happened with a canine cop, with a dog in the car. I mean, it's happened a few times. I know out in the West and stuff like that, down in Florida. So
Yep, Paul got it fixed right away and
Yeah.
has taken over driving it because that's him. That's Paul O'Keefe, piece of shit walking.
All right, I'm going to start this again. Let's see where we're at.
Then on the side part of it, the blowing snow is going to be stuck on that, and you're going to be able to see an outline of that. See how far it sticks out. Now, right here, this is what the jury got to see. You don't see anything funny on a little 32-inch TV all the way across the courtroom. But when you zoom into the video, that's when you really get a picture for what's going on.
Lieutenant Ray, while this is up on the screen, if I could ask you to, you've reviewed this video since this date of January 29, 2022, correct?
Yes.
And using the laser pointer in front of you, you could direct the jury's attention to what, if anything.
Now, why don't we take a closer look at this video? You can see the snow is covering John and Karen's taillights. But more importantly, on Karen's
still
car,
intact.
you can still see
This
the
video
outline
right
of the
here
taillight
is,
lens being
yeah, it's
used.
still intact.
Because if the lens was gone, you would not see the outline of the taillight. Because the lens sticks out farther
although I didn't know it at the time,
than the insides of the taillight. There would be a noticeable divot in the snow with that much taillight gone.
Yeah.
have since
So that's how I know that the taillight is intact.
Tell that there is
Okay,
And here we go with Auntie Bev helping out
continue.
the Commonwealth as usual.
No, he's got to ask the question differently.
During the course of your being checked, where is it around the residence situation?
We initially went up to one of the front doors.
Enough of that. The two yellow circles are where the blurs are, and the red outline is the outline of the taillight that the snow is stuck to.
I believe it was the one on the right.
Now you can see the blurs
And
a little
we
bit.
knocked,
as far
rang the
back.
doorbell, knocked on the door,
That
and
circle.
we were seeing if we
You
could
notice
raise
you can
anybody and
see
get any
the
response.
outline of the taillight.
And during the
Same
time
on
that
both
you were,
sides.
were you able to raise anybody?
No, sir.
Closer up. Now you're starting to see the blurs easier. The blurs are moving around because it's a dash cam looking at a solid object. The car is not moving. The dash cam is on the dash of the other car, which is vibrating because of the engine. It's shaking because of the wind, and they are moving around, getting in and out of the car. So those blurs are following the dash camera. And the car is actually moving somewhat. Not much, but it's moving. And whoever altered the video didn't take into account that
This guy's good.
wind and everything is blowing
This guy's really good.
the dash cam car. Zoomed in even closer. Now you really can see the two blurs moving around. They don't sit still. They keep moving around very slightly. But if you follow and watch them, they are moving, and I can assure you that is an altered video. I didn't alter it. They altered it. Just for the heck of it. Closer, anyone? Oh, look at that dance around. That is an altered video.
Wow.
This case should be over immediately. Every video that shows Karen's rear taillight is altered. You can see the outline of the snow, which means the lens is there. Had the lens been gone, they wouldn't have had to alter it. Plus, if the lens wasn't there, you would clearly see a divot on that side. Now, whoever altered the video, I believe should go to prison and go to prison for a very long time, because they are the people that is in.
Look at that right there. You can tell there's nothing missing.
I mean, this is the thing. This is all the gaslighting tomfoolery that the Commonwealth is coming up with. It is blatantly in front of their face. And they hired Hank Brennan, who is literally has spent his career flipping shit.
All Hank is trying to do, he's trying to win this case off of sound bites. That's it.
Yeah.
And he put in a whole his intention to do it today. That's all he's trying to do.
You've been a police officer for 30 years, right?
Almost, yeah.
So, okay. So have you ever seen something like this where the state of New York has pulled this bullshit before?
No. What happens is once you're in a detective squad, one of your jobs is to retrieve video from crime scenes or capturing the perpetrator coming or going from a scene, or even the victim. So we would personally go out to capture the video ourselves, and we would ask the owner or the manager to download it onto a what you call it, a little drive or a little disk or something like that. And if we couldn't do it, there's a unit in the NYPD that does it called Taru. But Taru is busy because you got to remember, you have maybe 8 or 10 guys trying to cover the entire city. All right. So that's why we went out and did it ourselves. And the only thing that we would do with video when we took the video, if we were making a wanted poster of somebody, like take the picture, the frame that's up there now, say that Karen's vehicle was wanted in the commission of a crime here. All right. What we would do is we would either blow it up or try to fine tune it. We didn't turn around and do anything fugazi with it. Even taking a perpetrator wanted for a crime. Yeah, we zoomed in on it, but what happens is when when you turn everything over to the DA's office, you have to turn over the original video, okay? You have to turn over a copy of the wanted poster and what you cut up to make the wanted poster, individual like stills. So the DAs would know if we screwed around with it. And so would the defense attorneys, you know?
Right.
That's
Right.
why that's why I don't understand. I mean, this is blatant what's going on here.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
they're not even, they don't even try to hide it very well now.
No, they don't care.
They don't even
It's-
care to hide it anymore.
No.
They insult our intelligence
That's
every day. You
you're
know why?
exactly
Because
right.
it's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and they think that they fucking can. Until all the cards start fumbling around. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Until
exactly
shit
it.
starts hitting the
All right, I'm going to start it again.
ceiling. Yeah.
Authority and control this and can take away someone's life for up to life. And this cannot stand. This cannot be allowed to happen in U.S. courts. This just undermines the whole system. This is so dirty. Filthy dirty. This makes me
It
so
is.
mad.
We weren't able to raise anybody. Shortly thereafter, we subsequently we did find out that the children were staying with friends or family at this time.
See, when they made these videos and altered them, they had no clue that the whole world would be watching. Yet here we are. I can't believe another programmer
January
would
29th.
do such a thing. But here's what the taillight looks like busted out.
Right.
Snow's not going to stick to that.
No.
It's going to go inside of it and
Yeah,
stick on
exactly.
the ledges, and where the pieces are missing,
Yeah.
there's not going to be any snow. So
Right.
there won't be a clean outline of a taillight.
Right.
That's how I know for 100% fact, besides the two blurs dancing around, that the video is 1000% altered. I mean, there's no question that this video that we just watched was altered. Now look how far that taillight sticks out. If that whole lens was missing,
Yeah.
about 2 inches of that would be dented in.
Yeah.
There's a clear outline with two blurs. in
This
that
vehicle right
video.
here is Miss Reed's vehicle.
That is why they are keeping the
I
jury
believe that vehicle there
far
is
back
Mr.
from the little
O'Keefe's vehicle.
TV, because the videos are altered.
And I
Here it
didn't,
is
although I
in
didn't
front
know
of
it at the
your
time,
eyes,
but
with
I
a
have
police
since
officer
reviewed the
talking about how the light is busted.
So the
And clearly it's
finishes.
just covered with
You
snow
didn't know
with
it
two
at the time,
blurs
but you
over.
have since what?
I have since
This
reviewed this
is
video,
highly
and I can
outrageous.
tell
This
that
makes
there
me
is
so mad.
Okay, the objections.
This is why I do these videos right here. I've spent thousands of dollars
Continue.
on this to
Now, during
prove
the
this is a
course,
farce.
Wow.
Boom. Boom.
Just so you guys know, I actually have donated to him because what he's paying out of his own pocket to do this. So I wanted everybody to know, if you feel the need to, you can go. I just look up Be in Trouble. He's got a Venmo in his stuff. So the other thing I wanted to show you, I actually had this on I shared this on my ex the other day about that same picture. So it's going to keep going, but watch it moving. You can see it's not in the way that in the different frames, they've completely altered the video. Do you see it?
Yeah.
They've also
Wow.
changed saturation in it.
Yes.
They've done a few things to the video.
Mm-hmm.
They sure did. They sure did. So wait, can we talk about the fact that Brennan said that everything had been changed out and then the audit
lied?
Police officers lied and
Interesting.
said it's still there. Listen, I want to know what other videos were inverted prior to January 29th of 2022.
Well, it was the two that
I
they
need evidence.
they randomly found in March of 2025 after they told us that there was nothing, that it had been written over.
Right.
Because they don't have anything.
Not only that,
Okay.
in any real court, none of that video would be allowed into evidence. In
Right.
any real court, the date was already passed that they were allowed to turn over evidence, that they had to turn it in by. Okay?
Jay is
In any
correct.
real court, that's it. It's over and done. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Except in Norfolk County.
Right. Except for Norfolk County, where I pay taxes, Scott.
Good luck. Get a
So-
skateboard. You're going to need it.
The people that work in Expert Data Analysis LLC, I think, even though it was dissolved after the day it happened, they still all have the ability to do the same. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, without a doubt.
they
Without
have.
a doubt.
That's what they do. I mean,
Yep.
and it's funny how all of their little businesses are connected in some
Yeah.
way. Like Brian Albert has his address was at Reddington's office.
Reddington's. Yep.
Right. Sus. Okay, so Scott, I have a question for you. With the trial closely, like we are right there. I heard
48
before
hours.
the stream started that it might start on Wednesday. What do you think? You know, it doesn't matter. Give us a few opinions. What do you think is going to be different this time
There she
that
is.
didn't happen? That didn't happen in the first trial. What are your predictions? Just speculation.
My big prediction is that whoever does it, whether it be AJ, David, Alessi, or even Eliza, they're gonna harp on the fact that John was not hit by a car. Period. The end. Okay. They're also gonna go and they're gonna. My guess is Alessi is gonna do the cross on what's her name? Renee Stonebridge. All right. And to get
Okay.
her to explain what would have caused the injuries to the brain that she found, as opposed to the last time. Now, Irina Scorti Bello, I think she's scared for her life and her job.
Oh,
That's my opinion. That's
she
my
won't change
opinion.
it. She won't admit to it either.
Exactly. And I get it because just by looking at her demeanor and the way she's talking, she's scared. She's either scared of losing her job or somebody threatened her. But she won't perjure herself.
No,
So she's leaving it open to interpretation. Okay. So the big thing is whoever's going to go and cross Stonebridge has to pull the information out of her. And I can tell you right now, Renee Stonebridge interned at a level 1 trauma center here on Long Island. She interned at Winthrop Medical Center, okay, where she has seen gunshot wounds. She has seen people beaten with bats and pipes. She has seen people hit by cars. She knows what she's talking about. She has seen it all.
Sorry. Why this is up. I actually just found the video of the video that Sherry has been asking us to play and wants Scott's thoughts
where'd
on
you
it.
find that? I was
So I'm
just
just going to
looking
go
for
ahead and play that. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I have my ways.
Oh, you have your
Just
ways,
with,
huh? You need to share that sheet. Share that
Oh,
sheet.
you know she's not going to, Kelly. You know she's not going to.
Oh, she will. She better had. Who, if anyone, was driving?
A Jeep Wrangler vehicle that I believe was white.
You couldn't stay at the Waterfall all night, correct?
That is correct. I didn't left.
Plan was for him to shovel out at 3 a.m. What time were you at the Waterfall? Were you?
Yes, it was.
But he was going to be going out that evening to plow, I believe.
And did you have a vehicle at that time? I did. What kind of vehicle? I believe
It was a Ford.
was it? Just the girl. You're older. Better.
Even a white.
Interesting.
Blue eyes, me too.
All their tail lights are on at the same time, or brake lights are on at the same time.
At 12:45, we have Higgins' Jeep and Jen's white Jeep.
Okay.
12:10 p.m. things change.
So it says found these edits: 1, no roof; 2, new front half completely with no door handle, lopsided, relocated covered plow, truck turned into car, empty space but edits an area. Light reflectors remain the same despite the vehicle changing. Plates 2, created snow cover despite a dusting at midnight, and the shadow of the truck with the plow morphs into the wonky car, complete with the exact truck roof line made into blocky snow and a bent light pole, whatever that means.
That pole right there, that light pole.
Oh, okay.
Well, now you also have a car missing. And now it's back.
Oh, they're running right in the front?
Yep.
Sorry, guys, that was going on.
What time were you at the waterfall?
Look at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
28.
Look at the time.
Was it in the morning?
I don't remember.
So it could have been 5 p.m. maybe, well.
Could have been 5 in the morning. I don't know.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Well, you
I
have to
hope
know,
I really
right?
hope the defense sees all this stuff. I know people think that they get everything, but sometimes they need to really make sure it's sent to them.
I think they're watching pretty much everybody that has a show on, with Karen being the topic and the trial being the topic. Somebody is watching.
I really,
Oh.
really
That's my
hope.
opinion.
Higgins
Because-
is definitely calling. They called into James and
Yeah.
JFK.
That's not
Trying to
Higgins.
be thuggy. Like no
It's
one calls
Kevin
himself
from
Boston
South
Higgins.
Boston.
What?
Not Southie. Kevin from South Boston.
It's right. It's not. And listen,
I was watching
coming
that
from
live.
a girl who's from High Park, I don't know one dude that I know from High Park, and I know a lot of them that ever call South Boston.
I was watching
Ever.
it live, and when he said South Boston, I was like, that ain't right. And I don't even live there. Like, I knew it wasn't right.
Yeah, it is disturbing. So disturbing. But he's a decorated dude. Yeah, I'll decorate his face.
Please don't get me started on that.
Such decoration.
Decorated dudes don't brag about their medals.
So, you
Real
know, I was
decorated
looking
dudes don't
at
brag.
the witness list, right? And I know that there's a lot of people on the witness list that will not be called. They're just there just
Exactly.
in case. They're there to kind of rattle cages or whatever. But in your okay, I'm gonna ask being in law enforcement and probably have seen many trials, Scott, you know what goes on behind the scenes. What do you think Brennan is going to bring to the table that Lally didn't?
I think what could be the big home run in this is that guy Kukowski. And the reason
Who's
being,
that?
Kukowski
He's
is
Colin's
Massachusetts
lawyer.
State Trooper. No. Isn't that the name of the state trooper that just testified in the Turk trial?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was
Kukowski. And his first name was what? Joseph, I believe?
Joseph. Sounds
Okay.
right.
Was it one of Proctor's text messages about, oh, we should have sent Joe to the ME's office, have him speak to the ME about the results of the autopsy, have her change it.
Yeah.
Now, if I was on the defense team and I was crossing Kukowski, who's going to be up there, I'm going to ask him, officer or trooper, why would former Trooper Proctor say that you should have went and spoke to the ME about changing the cause of death or the manner of death? Have you done that
Yeah.
before?
Right.
You know what? Let's blow this whole thing wide open. Let's get this all out in the open now for the jury to hear it.
Right.
It's Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Okay, Jeff.
Jeffrey.
Yep.
The first letter was right.
Yeah.
Who do you think's calling Proctor? The Commonwealth or the defense?
I think the defense.
The
defense. Brennan already knows that the damage is done. All right. What he's going to try to do is minimize. He's going to try to minimize it. All right. So
I'll be right back. 2 seconds, okay?
Yep. Yeah. Brennan is going to try to minimize as much of the damage as he can do, no matter who's on the stand.
Yeah.
It's a matter of AJ, David, Eliza, and the guy that I call the Ginsu attorney, Alessi, to get up there and cut them all up. And they can do it.
Yeah.
This is number 2, and they know what they're up against.
I think I think there's probably some explosive things in their back pocket.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And because she said, they're reworking things and or retooling it is how she said it. But
yeah,
there's got to be new things that come out, because look now, I mean, we're still even right about the trial to start, and they're literally coming out with the same things. You know what I mean? And new things are coming out, like just that video, those two videos today. So and then I know Carl Steinbeck has done a couple videos on YouTube as well saying stuff, but I was gonna pull up the Canton audit, the assessment.
Yeah, let's get the BP meds out for that one. That was a disgrace. That audit was a disgrace.
I have a question. Do you think that the prosecution is going to play defense against the McAlberts the whole time, like this past time?
Yeah.
And I have a question. Did she ever rule that Colin and Albert and all of them cannot be there during closing arguments?
Yes. No, they could be there for closing. They can all be there for closing.
For the Commonwealth, but nothing for the defense. The defense is still waiting on a handful of stuff.
Yeah. But supposedly, if I remember correctly, everybody can be there for closing. It's a wrap. Yep.
Wow. Sorry, guys. I needed a snack. I felt like I was going to pass out.
Can I block Noodles? Because she's starting to make me mad. I'm just saying. Just saying.
I think we have enough mods right now, but I will keep you in mind.
Noodles, no nudes. Okay?
Whoa.
No nudes.
I want nudes. Who has nudes?
Well, because it's Noodles, so I spell it no nudes like Proctor, but I say with NOOD, nudes.
So funny.
So, she was in there watching the Lori Vallow case with me earlier, and then Amy came in. So, let's see.
All right, so what do we got going on with this executive summary?
You need me to? Does it need to get bigger?
Gonna need blood pressure medication after this.
Is that too big?
Oh, that's good.
Look at that. It actually worked.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So it says, who watches the Watchmen? So this is from the Sturm group. They're the ones that, if you guys aren't familiar, they wrote the letter to the select board telling them that this is what they would need to fix, that they couldn't do in a proper audit for the amount, and that the scope was too broad of what they wanted to be done. So that is why they're doing an assessment of it now because I think they're trying to protect themselves. If
without a doubt.
Because they turned it down. They refused to even turn in an RFP. So, the executive summary: the white paper critically examines the operational audit of the Canton Police Department conducted by 5SI, Five Stones Intelligence. What was advertised as an opportunity for reform became an exercise in confirmation bias, political theater, and superficial accountability. Rather than uncovering systemic problems or holding back leadership responsible for operational breakdowns, the audit merely restated public information already known from the Karen Reed mistrial. More troublingly, the audit failed
This is the important part, Kelly, right here, what you're about to read. And I said that weeks ago.
More importantly, the audit failed to scrutinize how CPD managed to maintain dual accreditations from the Commission on the Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies and the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission. Despite clear violations of core standards of both bodies, this report makes one thing abundantly clear. Canton did not need an audit to learn what was already new. It needed the courage to demand more. That right there is huge.
Sure is.
I asked that question weeks ago. How are they still accredited after what happened? They're still accredited now. How?
Yeah.
That saying right there is huge.
Yes, it is.
The missed moment. Sturm Group warned the town of Canton well in advance in a detailed letter September 10th of critical failures in the RFP process, no defined audit scope, unrealistic timeline during the holidays and legal proceedings, underfunding for the project of this complexity, legal exposure for auditors, absence of criminal reporting protocols, establishment of a true anonymous tip line, and political risk stemming from unresolved public mistrust. Rather than embracing this letter as a roadmap to accountability with specific expert-driven recommendations designed to salvage the process, Canton officials chose to forge ahead with their recommendations, forge ahead with their original deeply flawed RFP. The chance to course correct was real, detailed, and delivered in good faith. It was ignored, not out of oversight, but out of overconfidence and political expedience. Damn, whoever wrote this is good.
Oh, yeah.
The shortcomings of the audit are not the fault of 5SI. They delivered a competent report within the narrow and poorly constructed confines of the town's own making. This is what happens when municipal leadership chooses to prioritize appearance over expertise.
Attaboy.
Dismissed the advice of professionals who have conducted complex investigations across the country and instead believed they could script a credible process themselves. The real failure belongs to the town's leadership, substituting political convenience for genuine reform. They didn't want a difficult audit. They wanted a safe one. And that's exactly what they got.
That is exactly what they got.
Oh, without
they
a doubt.
got guys that were willing to do whatever fucking crash what he said.
3-2.
Oh, without a doubt.
3-2.
Mm-hmm.
They took the money and ran. But
yep.
there was a lot of things in that audit. The first thing that really pissed me off is what they did to Sergeant Murphy. Okay. For him to stand up there with 30 plus years in the department.
At that meeting?
That question, yes, at the meeting, and ask them, how would you feel about this type of investigation that was a member of your family? And for that guy to turn around and say, oh, that wasn't a question, that was a statement. Yeah, okay.
Oh, Peter Murphy.
Yeah.
He told him he was on his soapbox.
Yep.
Peter Murphy is a force to be reckoned with. That man was there for 30-something years.
Yep.
He was spitting facts, and those guys couldn't handle it.
He said
they knew exactly what they did.
Oh, without a doubt, he knew.
And said, I am not going to answer that because yours is not a question. You're just on your soapbox.
Yep.
Can you imagine being told that by a fucking audit person?
Not only that,
here.
that guy was, if I remember correctly, that clown was 9 years with Chicago PD, and then he went to the feds. So, okay, So we saw 9 years in Chicago back in the heyday. Okay, so we saw some shootings, some stabbings, some gang wars and stuff like that. But then he went to the feds. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's the other way around. Usually people leave the feds and go to a higher paying other department. Why would you leave and go to a federal agency?
Right.
I don't know. I just find that suspect myself.
Yeah.
Larry submitted a letter, told the residents of Canton the timeline to get the audit done and the amount allotted for the audit was not reasonable. Yeah, I actually have that letter too.
Let's read it. I want to hear that monstrosity.
Let's see what I can find here.
Scott, with this next upcoming trial, obviously they know more things. I think more TUI information was dropped. I think all of these things, Bev's trying to push the trial. What do you think? Do you think they were more diligent picking a jury this time, or do you think they made it? A lot of people were suggesting that it should be more diverse. I'm just going to say it, living in Norfolk County really isn't a diverse place. It's usually affluent areas, and there's not much difference here. And so it's just a lot of the same.
Let's back it up a little bit to the first trial with Lally. While everybody hated Lally, okay, Lally wasn't dirty. Lally didn't play underhanded. Lally just went off the script that Morrissey gave him.
Exactly.
Now you have Brennan, who's a defense attorney by trade, okay, defended Whitey Bulger, and what's he doing now? He's still playing defense.
Defending thugs.
He's there for one reason and one reason only. And I'll say this, it's just like the first trial. It's not about getting Karen convicted. It's about protecting people. And it's about protecting who the real killer and killers may be. Okay? That's my opinion. Okay? I don't know who did what to John. Okay? I really don't.
I don't think we'll ever know what happened in that house. Never.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
Unless somebody comes out and just says blah, it's never going to happen.
No.
Lally just talks out his butt. He doesn't know what he's saying, and he just says stuff, and then he puts you to sleep.
Exactly.
And he tries to confuse you of what he says here to here. So if he changes, the times, like it went from 12:45 to 12:30, they're changing the times up, but he's moving that goalpost slowly, so you don't even notice it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question? I don't remember from the first trial. Is there a timeline that was originally stated around the time of the incident, and then since then the timeline has gone off and off and off to kind of wrap around their narrative? Is there something set in stone that was closest to the incident? Because memories don't get better as the time goes by.
Worse. Yeah, but you got to remember something here. If you don't think that these witnesses have been studying the new playbook for at least the last 6 months, I got a bridge to sell you. I guarantee you the new playbook, the new playbook was out and they've been studying. Okay. This is like a football. This is a chess match right now between Brennan and the defense. And it's going to come down to whoever plays offense better. And I think it's going to be the defense. I don't think the prosecution is ready for everything that's going to come out this time.
I don't think Hank is ready for them.
No.
Hank he thinks he's got their number, but I think they're going to come out swinging, and he's going to be like, "Jeez."
But you got to remember, it's still all about one thing. It's not about convicting Karen. It's about protecting whoever was in 34 families.
Amen.
That did it. So it doesn't really matter.
Virtual
if they
high
convict
five.
Karen.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. All it is about protecting Karen.
But if it didn't matter, why are they bringing her through a second trial?
Because
why could they just left it a hung jury? You know what I mean?
Optics. optics.
Yeah.
Hey, if you know what, they got to go with. We really believe she did it, because if they didn't, everybody would know that it was a farce. That would just be the icing on the cake if they turned around and didn't prosecute Karen again.
Sherry D has a good point. Again, Jen and Kerry said that Karen showed them the tail light at Meadows.
Yeah.
Natalie plays the video, which contradicted their testimony. What did Lally do that? Why did Lally do that?
Sherry, I have no idea. There's a lot of things I don't understand why Lally did and Lally said in the first trial.
And the thing is, even if it's a mistrial again, they're gonna come after her again. They don't care.
Not
they
only
don't,
that,
no problem spending millions of dollars coming after her. It's a point to save them.
exactly. No, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has thought about this scenario between the three of us, but I've been thinking about this for a while. God forbid Karen is convicted. Okay, we all know that it's going to go to the SJC, be appealed, and it's going to be overturned. Okay, with all of the violations that the Commonwealth had.
But the problem is, if she is convicted, she's in jail.
You're right. That's number one. She's in jail. Number two, that would give Bev and the Commonwealth the excuse to walk away hands-free. They could turn around and say, hey, we convicted Karen, and you know what? Bev screwed up, and you know what? It's her fault that Karen is free now. And they could drop the whole thing saying that they had the real killer. That would be it. And they could walk away. They could walk away scot-free.
Biffle got it. She didn't take her shoes off.
Yeah, exactly.
Disrespectful.
Exactly.
That makes her a killer.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what did it. How long would getting to the appellate court take her? Like, how long would it take?
Long time.
That's going to take a while. There is no way the appellate court's going to take that up right away. In my opinion, there's no way the appellate court's going to take that up the right way. Take that up immediately. They're going to make Karen pay for dragging this out.
She said, Scott, I think Lally was writing the fence. Look, Lally got the 3,000-page FBI report. Lally knows the truth.
Shari, I believe you're right, Shari. And you know what? That's why I don't think Lally is sitting first chair this trial.
That's why he didn't ask anything of he didn't ask the ARCA. He didn't ask because he saw all that paperwork.
Exactly. And that's why he's not sitting first chair, because he told Morrissey that, you know what? I'm not losing my license over this.
Right.
So Lally's going to
Why
sit
is anyone
chair,
losing anything over this?
Now, here's my other.
I bet you he doesn't say a peep.
Here's my question, because I don't know much about, like, I know politics, but like I don't know Massachusetts politics. So what happens if and when, because it's going to happen, Morrissey is moved or voted out next year, right? He's supposed to be up for his chair, or for district attorney is supposed to come up for a vote next year. What happens if this goes to a mistrial and they don't start that trial until after that vote? Then what's
I believe there's a time period that it has to happen by. That's why Bev was pushing for this April start date.
No,
there's a
we
time
had talked
period.
about that. I thought we found out that it didn't have to be.
No, it had to be. It had to be.
Because I thought there was like 1 year, and
they only had 1 year to retry her.
But I thought that somebody had come on and told us that was not correct.
There would be no other reason for Bev to be pushing for this April start.
Yeah, because they can get dismissed.
Yeah, it would get dismissed, and they're not going to let that happen.
With prejudice, meaning they can't.
Yeah, and that's it. It's a wrap, and they can't try her again.
Yeah, everybody's saying
it's a wrap. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's just crazy. All right.
It's a disgrace.
Let's read this.
What video is she talking about?
Oh, she's talking about the video we just played.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. No, what's the Sturm Group? Did you already read this?
Sturm Group is they're the ones that did the letter thing. They stand for Security, Training, Investigation, and Risk Mitigation.
They've been around for a while.
Okay. They are a big. They are big for doing audits, but they have like FBI agent, ex-FBI
Yeah.
agents. They have like people from every walk of area you could for the police and the things like that they're doing audits for. And this is the letter from September that they are, oh, no problem, Icy Ducks, we'll get you going. We have the letter that they wrote to Bob McCarthy and the committee for the audit committee, and what they said about the RFP and why they were not going to put an RFP in. So it says, Mr. McCarthy, we at Sturm Group would like to extend our sincere appreciation to the citizens of Canton who reached out and encouraged us to submit a proposal for the operational audit of the Canton Police Department. Knowing that our reputation for conducting complex investigations with integrity and ethics has reached the South Shore is encouraging. Please allow me to introduce myself and explain why I'm writing you today. My name is Larry Smith. I am the founder of Sturm Group, a boutique full-service firm specializing in security training, investigations, and risk mitigation with strong focus on law enforcement services. SG has an earned reputation for handling complex cases that other firms often avoid. For instance, when two companies declined the opportunity to work with a local police department, we stepped in. Our investigation uncovered systemic issues within the department, including the involvement of the Municipal Police Training Committee and covering up for MPTC certification records. We also identified significant problems with the Essex County District Attorney and Attorney's General Office, which collectively declined to prosecute the police corruption case 7 times. More recently, we were retained by another police department after their auditor withdrew mid-project because the scope was beyond their capabilities. Sturm Group took over the audit, including managing the evidence and property section, moved from the old department to the new facility. We are finalizing the draft audit report for the department's review, and the department's chief has publicly acknowledged that the audit would not have been successful without our involvement and expertise. Access to records and establishing mechanism for compliance. During the audit, it is crucial to establish a clear mechanism to ensure the auditors have unfettered access to department records, as stated in the RFP. While the RFP promises full access, there must be a formal process in place for the auditors to report any instances where access to critical documents, data, information is obstructed or delayed. This mechanism would allow auditors to escalate any issues swiftly to a neutral third party, such as designated oversight committee or town official, with the authority to enforce compliance. This ensures the audit can proceed without interference, and the auditors can conduct thorough transparency. Auditors must be able to be concerned about access without fear of obstruction and mechanism. Comment
on Mommy's video.
Okay, we will. To resolve
My
any
hype man.
delays promptly. Without such a process, the integrity of the audit will be compromised, especially in situations where key records may be withheld or manipulated either intentionally or unintentionally. Ensuring this level of accountability is vital to the success and credibility of the audit. Independent process for reporting criminal activity. In addition to addressing access to records, a separate and independent process must be established to handle any criminal behavior uncovered during the audit. The citizens of Canton are deeply divided, with a large portion already questioning the integrity of the police department. In addition, there is widespread trust of law enforcement agencies involved in both the Reed and Birchmore cases. The distrust extends to the District Attorney Morrissey's office, which plays a key role in both cases. To ensure the audit remains impartial and trustworthy, we would recommend appointing a special prosecutor with full investigative and prosecution authority based on the federal special prosecutor model. This individual would be responsible for ongoing criminal investigation and activity.
Like and subscribe.
Discovered during the audit. The special prosecutor should be someone with no ties to Massachusetts. I can't talk. With the retired federal prosecutor and magistrate who can act independently of local law enforcement agencies and the district attorney's office. This ensures that any criminal findings are investigated and prosecuted without bias, reinforcing the integrity of the audit. By having a special prosecutor in place, the confident any criminal activity uncovered during the audit will be handled transparently and without influence from entities already viewed by skepticism. I'm going to skip over a little bit. I don't want to go through the whole thing.
Yeah.
It says the most significant concern regarding the RFP is the absence of clearly defined scope of work. While the document outlines a broad, all-encompassing audit, it lacks specificity of, I can't talk today, about the obligations and deliverables expected from the consulting firm. This ambiguity makes it difficult to, or if impossible, to develop an action plan, raising serious questions about the project's feasibility and the likelihood of achieving meaningful results. A well-structured audit requires clear objectives and expectations without them. The audit becomes a nebulous task prone to misinterpretation and inefficiencies. Moreover, the construction of the RFP itself is concerning. Not only is the document exhibit vagueness, it also contains factual inaccuracies that undermine its credibility. For example, it references the 25 years of Post records are inaccurate, as Post has only existed for a few years and remains in its developmental stages. Such inaccuracies suggest that part of the RFP may be generated or influenced by artificial intelligence, which raises concern about the board's understanding of the audit process and the comprehensive scope required for a project of this magnitude. In our professional judgment, this lack of well-defined guidance renders it impossible for an audit firm to effectively plan, execute, and deliver substantial results when an audit is linked to a high-profile case, such as an internationally recognized homicide. The stakes are even higher. Poor audit outcomes will only exacerbate tensions and intensify police scrutiny. Conducting an audit under the current RFP guidelines would likely result in confusion and controversy rather than providing the clarity the city seeks. Anybody have anything to say about that before I go further?
Scotty.
No, I mean, these guys are on the money. They know exactly what they were going to be
The whole
tasked
Post
to
thing.
do.
The whole Post thing is insane.
That whole posting and the accreditation thing. Now, prior to me being NYPD, I was a member of the New York City Transit Police, all right? NYPD wasn't accredited. I still don't think they are. The Transit Police were accredited. Now, let me tell you how the accreditation works. The accreditation works 2 weeks before they come to do the accreditation audit. What they do is somebody calls somebody up and say, hey, we're coming to you, all right? You know what you need to have. You need to have all the equipment in the trunks of the cars. You need to have the cell area swept, the cameras actually working. You need to have backup flashlights in the command. You need riot shields in the closets, and then you have to have all your paperwork for like the last year's arrests, the property that was vouched as evidence, the property that was vouched as investigatory, the property that was safeguarded, stuff like that. And you have to have also the receipts of people that came to pick up their property when they were released from jail.
Oh, you mean like chain of custody?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, what is that?
Exactly.
I mean, I had no idea.
Apparently Canton Police, listen, from what I gather from this audit, Canton Police doesn't know what chain of custody is. But you know what? I could be the chief of detectives there because apparently when you go from being a police officer to detective in the Canton Police Department, you get no additional training. That was right out in the open. That's right in the report. I could be chief of detectives there. What are they paying? What are they paying the chief of detectives there? Probably $200,000. I'll take it. I'm already more qualified.
Dude, it's like $275 a year.
I'm already more qualified than that chief of detectives, and I was only a third grade detective.
You should just take over Rafferty. She shouldn't even be a cop. She's intimidated by Turtle Boy.
Amy, let me tell you something right now. Bob wouldn't be sitting on that board right now if I was chief of police.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
I would have followed him and I would announce him for Dewey or something.
Yeah. Well, the fact that Chris Albert is a murderer and was elected on to this select board is
nobody had that information. I thought that like somebody said they didn't know that when he was voted in that wasn't knowledge.
Oh yeah, no, but no one knew. No
They
one
knew.
knew he's an
Oh,
Albert.
they knew.
fucking knew.
I'm thinking they knew, but I'm just saying.
The random citizens may have not, but everybody fucking knew. He's a
Oh, you
piece
mean
of shit.
the fucking random citizens?
The fucking random citizens didn't know.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
all small town politics. That's not just going on in Canton. I mean, in Norfolk County or Canton, we have that here on Long Island. We've got towns that have their own police departments. That, you know, one of the things I saw during the audit on the video was that somebody asked a question: was it considered corruption or preferential treatment if somebody has the number to the chief of police as opposed to calling the command? Okay, listen. Let's call a spade, all right? In every police department, in every town, there is somebody that has a direct line to the chief of police. Hey, Caden. Yeah,
The thing
that's
is
just the way it is.
said when they came in that they were not going to investigate the actual case. They were actually going to investigate CPD and what they did. So the fact that they even put, like Sherry D said, they put Sherry D
The
said
comments in that, yeah.
Matt McCabe arrived at 34
Yeah.
Fairview at 6:38. Why does that matter in this in the audit?
Yeah, it doesn't. That's just smoke and mirrors trying to cover their ass.
They used let's see, solo cups.
Right. Because that was totally fine. Attaboy.
Don't forget snowblowers were innovative because they used them in Canada and Alaska. So in two towns,
they don't use snow or leaf blowers in the snow. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't.
I said this before and I'll say it again. They left 34 Fairview to go get a motherfucking leaf blower to blow around the snow, but they didn't have time to go to the Canton PD to get the proper stuff they needed to investigate.
Not only
and
that,
they never got a fucking warrant. These people are criminals. Or to be gracious to them, they're just incompetent and deserve to be off the force.
Nice. Listen.
Being nice.
You're telling me that they sent somebody to go get a snowblower, okay? First of all, there wasn't that much snow on the ground. That's number one. Number two, let me ask you something. If somebody has a leaf blower, do you think somebody closer had a rake?
There was probably a leaf blower in the garage.
They could have, like,
I bet Kelleher did. He had the red.
Exactly.
He had the red snow
You're
cups.
telling me that they couldn't rake the snow to come up with pieces of broken taillight?
Well, and the other thing is they had a party 2 weeks. The Alberts had a party 2 weeks after this happened. Okay. And there's pictures of all of them. And I am very interested to see the pictures because if there's no snow on the ground, which I remember other people posting pictures of certain days that they had said that they had found certain things. That then how did Proctor find the biggest piece after this party?
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I live here. There was, like, us Bostonians, we think of that shit as nothing. It's nothing. Like, it's no amount of snow. You can speed in this snow, right? By the time he was found, and hours later, there was a blizzard of like 2 feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to tell us that they were finding random pieces throughout the weeks. Do you know how much snow gets piled up on the sidewalks after you're being plowed?
And lose more snow on top of it.
Yes, no, it becomes worse.
Yes.
There's no way. There's no way that what they said happened.
No.
It just didn't happen that way.
Nope.
I don't believe it for a second. Hold on,
Good
guys.
left his dispatch position, didn't grab any supplies, but went home to grab a leaf blower.
All right, listen, not for nothing. I've seen stuff similar to that happening. I've seen like a regular desk job, a regular command in New York City PD and NYPD is a desk officer and an assistant desk officer. Okay, when the shit hits the fan, when a cop has been hurt, you know what happens? Everybody goes. You leave the guy there. There's been times in the command where there was a cop that's on restricted duty because he doesn't have a gun because he's out medical, where a cop's been left on the desk with no gun. So is it a little? The whole thing about the guy leaving the the command, as long as there was somebody there, that's really no big deal.
He didn't,
Right.
Sherry. He left it. He didn't. Everybody was out there.
Yeah, but wasn't there a female officer working at the same tour inside with him?
I don't
If
think
I
so.
remember correctly, I believe there was somebody said during the testimony that there was a female officer, I believe, working the midnight tour with him, or there was another officer working inside. Because it's how are you going to turn around and only have one person working inside? What happens? The sergeant's got to use the bathroom, you know. So I'm guessing there was somebody else that was working inside, if I remember correctly.
Well, and if they had that party 2 weeks later and there wasn't that much snow, even if there was snow, everybody probably trampled on that yard to get to that front door because they're parked on the street.
Not only that, you don't think people just walked over there to see if there was anything there?
Right.
So it was definitely trampled on.
Happened to find the cell phone piece.
Yeah.
You know, that
2 weeks
size.
later. Not only that.
A couple days after that. And it's all, oh, she said, yeah, she transferred to BPD.
Yeah, so she was working. Listen, there was a reason why she transferred. Whether it be for more money or peace of mind.
There was she transferred right away, and they have her on the witness list.
Exactly. That's gonna be real interesting.
And Barrows is gonna get he's gonna get cross-examination this time.
Yep.
I doubt he took a picture of the taillight, but his words are going to
mean a lot.
To hit hard with the jury, in my opinion.
Without a doubt.
He is the guy who saw it and has no fucking skin in the game.
Yep, exactly. That's what it's going to come down to.
They Prince
No skin in the game.
Karen and Carrie did do CPR. Jen told them they weren't going to. Told Good they weren't going to, and that's when he was like, "Oh, they won't do it. Okay, they're nervous. All right, cool." So, but that he had a broken rib from resuscitation.
CPR. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah. They were trying to say that Karen did no life-saving measures. She was the only one doing mouth-to-mouth with Carrie Roberts.
She had blood on her face.
Yeah, exactly.
Shirt up to put to him to
Did we forget that Jen McCabe said she had blood all over her face because she was wiping period blood all over her face? Does everybody forget that? Because she didn't want people to believe that she was doing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Said that when she was in the car that
praying.
Have the dash cam that shows backwards. Elvis doesn't really have that at all, and they were praying and Googling at the same time.
Right. I just so everybody knows that we are not the sensitivity police. We say whatever we want here. If you're sensitive, might not be the show for you. But all of my regulars and loves are here. I'm just saying we're just not politically correct or sensitive here. So you're gonna hear some shit out of my mouth, Kelly's mouth, and our guest's mouth that you might be a little surprised. I thought I'd put that disclaimer in.
We love all you here.
You're all welcome. But if you're sensitive, you may get triggered.
Natalie got us. We're straight, baby. Natalie got us.
Let me ask you guys, what do you think is going to be the biggest thing that's going to happen in this round, in round 2?
Kelly, you go.
What do I think? What was the question?
Yeah. What's going to be the biggest thing that's going to happen in round 2?
Oh, I don't know, because I don't know what they have. Like, I'm nervous that I'm not nervous. I know. I just feel like the defense has a lot. If anything, I'm more nervous about on the prosecution side is Hank and the sound bites, because he's going to flip those sound bites. But they also have a thing that the defense can use where they can actually play the entire thing.
Exactly.
Because he's only playing a clip.
Exactly.
I don't remember what it was called, but there's something that like that they have the ability to play the entire thing so that it's not. What's going on? Is there something going on that somebody's upset about?
What do you mean?
Is it Amy? When you said no policing here?
Oh, I was talking to Glenn. I just didn't. There's no policing here. I'm not politically correct.
And he was Glenn making jokes. Politically correct. Okay.
But see, everyone in our chat like loves us and they know how we are and they're the same way and they have a part of my heart. But there are some people that
Coco
come in
says
and they're
a boomer and she has the worst mouth.
Hell yeah, Coco. That's why you're my girl. Disclaimer.
I will tell you, I was born and raised by a firefighter paramedic. And I was raised that nothing that you heard in the fire department was allowed to be repeated because it was probably not the best for people.
Yeah.
And
I
so
grew up in the hood. And,
I also knew to knock on the door.
I grew up in the hood.
Probably run around naked. So
anyway,
it takes
back
a
to the
lot-
question. Sorry.
it takes a lot to offend, to like make me go, what? Now,
Yeah.
how Hank treated Dr. Russell when she gasped,
Yeah,
that
was
made me go, what?
yeah, that was poor taste.
Wicked.
That's the other
So,
thing.
Kelly, what do you think is going to be the huge takeaway from this coming trial?
I mean, I really don't know because I don't know what all the new evidence is. So my thing is, I think is probably going to be, at least for the prosecution, probably going to be the sound bites that I think he's going to try to twist and turn. But for the defense, I wish I knew all the evidence they had.
Yeah, so do I. I wish I knew.
I don't
Maybe we can
know because I
speculate.
know what they had last time, but I feel like this time they have more stuff and they have it in their back pocket that they can pull out. And they are so good with that. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
For
I
me,
think the prosecution is the sound bites, like you said, and they're I hit him. That's gonna come up.
favorite.
And they're gonna, but this is the thing. What I believe that the defense has in their back pocket is all of the perjury statements, because there is no way in fucking hell any of them remember what they said, and even if they try to go back and figure it out, because listen, it is so hard to lie. It is so hard to remember lies, to remember the nuances of everything.
Well, when
and
you
Jen
lie,
McCabe is
tell a lie,
fucked.
cover the lie.
You got to keep going. You got to keep
Jen
going.
McCabe is
Keep it
fucked.
going.
Matt McCabe is fucked. Allie McCabe is fucked.
Alberts.
Chris Albert.
The only one who's not fucked is Colin because he can't remember shit.
He can't remember shit.
Yeah.
He was dropped as a baby. Yeah.
I don't remember.
So I know height, yeah, supposedly.
What about you? What's your takeaway, Scotty?
You know what I think is going to be interesting? I don't know if anybody else has thought about this. Remember how when Lally had them up on, I don't remember, was it Lally? When Lally was doing his examinations of everybody, remember how they said, oh, that's not what I told them. That's wrong. The police report is wrong about my statement. How many times did that happen?
A lot. Too many times. Never seen it before in a child
now,
in my
not
life.
for nothing. When we took a statement from a witness, we didn't have any recording devices back then, so it was all handwritten down. So we took notes. All right.
Right.
When I turned around and when I was taking notes of your statement, okay, please read this and let me know if this is accurate. If it's accurate, please sign your name underneath it. If not, tell me and I'll change it so it is accurate.
Right.
All right. You had how many people turn around and, oh, the police report's wrong. The police report's wrong. The police report's wrong. How is it that the police got all these statements wrong?
Right.
And who took those statements?
I'm going to tell you. So I live in a very well-to-do area. And I live in a great building where I live. It's great. It's safe. It's community, whatever. A new person moved in upstairs and there was a domestic.
Oh boy, here we go.
And I called the cops because I was scared for her safety. Okay. And you know that the cops called me not once, but twice to verify the information of what I saw and what I heard and whatever. 3 times they called to verify that their report was going to be truthful because of what happened upstairs during the domestic violence attack.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a domestic violence attack. I live in Norfolk County. These police officers are on top of things. They called back 3 times to verify information to make sure that their report was right.
Do you remember?
So there are people here that know what the fuck they're doing. Just can't during this incident. Everything went out the window.
Do you remember?
Everything.
Do you remember when I was on with Melanie, the members only, and somebody asked about a domestic violence case, and I explained how it goes? They did exactly what I said, they do. Domestic violence, no matter where you are in the country, is taken very seriously. Ever since all those domestic violence murders in New York City back in the late 80s, early 90s. And domestic violence, I mean, yeah, the stay away order or restraining order or the order of protection, like it's called here in New York, yeah, it's a piece of paper, and a lot of times it means nothing. It's a scare tactic. The problem is the DAs don't prosecute the people, or the judges don't put them away for violating the orders. But the cops are doing their job when it comes to the DB most of the time. You know, like you just said, they're calling you to get your information because, not for nothing, I guarantee you, they wrote in a report, Amy stated she called on this day at this time and stated that she heard this, she saw this, blah, blah, blah. You know, and that's exactly what it sounds like they did.
Yeah, and they confirmed it to make sure that the story wasn't changing. That's why I took it. Like, they just wanted to make sure that a few days later, I'm still remembering. It wasn't just an emotional place. And they did their due diligence for this poor girl.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I live in Norfolk County. This law enforcement agency that I have is wonderful. What happened in Canton that night had to have been intentional. It was because it was Brian Albert's house. Like, people will never convince me that that's not the case.
I can't believe that this is the first crime scene that the Canton Police Department ever handled in their lives. The first cop on the scene. The first cop on the scene was, what was his name? Saraf,
yep.
Saraf, okay. And if I remember correctly, he had close to 20 years. Either he was just short or just above it. You're telling me in 20 years as a cop, you have never responded to a scene that somebody was likely to die, a burglary, somebody that was assaulted, and you didn't secure a scene, you didn't secure evidence, you didn't do a search for evidence, okay?
Right.
Is that what you're telling me? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you have supervisors. The supervisors, you're telling me that as a supervisor in charge of detectives, that you don't know what has to be done.
Right.
That's what you're trying to pull. Now, they can maybe pull that on people that live in Canton that believe them.
Right.
But there's those of us that actually did the job. There's those of us that know people that did the job and have spoken to people that have done the job. They know they're lying.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
There is no way that they didn't know what they were doing.
Right. And you know what pisses me off too is that Bev won't even, like, she's cutting down every aspect of how this is turning, how it is a conspiracy. A conspiracy is very easy to prove. And that's why I feel like the feds are coming in with the conspiracy thing, because they don't do murders and stuff, right? They have like a behavioral unit and things like that. But they're going to come in with conspiracy. She is taking away every possibility that these people did what they did. And I don't think she knows what happens, but I think that she is helping friends out, making her more.
She's got the spot for a reason.
Yeah. Yes.
She's making Karen fight with one hand behind her back, is what
it
feels
without
like.
a doubt.
Before, I know we've been on for a while, and I'm gonna have to go eat in a minute because I haven't eaten yet. But
yeah, I have to go in a minute too. I can talk to Scotty for hours.
I know, but I wanted to go over this little part that was in the audit assessment. Okay, so it talks about what they recommend, things like that, you know. But it says this was not a failure of the process; it was a failure of the will. Canton knew what was wrong. What it lacked was courage to demand better. Until Canton finds the will and courage to demand better, no audit will expose what truly lies beneath, and no audit will identify the root of the problem. Appendix A, an impact of alleged auditor bias and timing. On April 1st, 2025, the same day jury selection began for the second Karen Reed trial following the mistrial, 5 SI submitted its final audit report to the town of Canton. Around the same time, a reliable and consistently accurate social media source, Sean on the Golf, posted the following claim. Here is something the back channel can confirm. Auditors from Five Stone Intelligence reportedly told various individuals based on their audit they believed Karen Reed was guilty. If substantiated, This allegation would profoundly damage the integrity of the audit. The RFP and the governing the Canton audit required neutrality, professional conduct, and an explicit avoidance of conclusions of fact regarding any ongoing legal matter. Yet this claim suggests auditors violated that obligation and privately communicated a conclusion of guilt in a high-profile active homicide case. This alleged behavior undermines every finding and recommendation in the report due to a compromised objectivity, creates exposure for the town of Canton if it can be shown that they knowingly accepted a biased report, risks tainting jury pools and influencing public perception, raising possible constitutional concerns related to Karen Reed's due process rights, and calls into question the ethical standings of Five Stones Intelligence and its adherence to professional audit standards.
They're a yes company. That's what Five Stones are. They're a yes company. It's obvious. It was obvious from their report.
Nailed it.
Like they're saying that they already, I mean, it's from the Gulf, so I mean, we have to take them.
Yeah, but if you listen to what the auditors were saying at the live meeting on that if you want to call it a press conference in the school auditorium, they basically said they believed Karen was guilty.
Yeah.
They said, oh yeah, the leaf blowers were okay, it was innovative. Oh, the solo cups were fine, and they just
snow
didn't know how to
fine.
do it. Come on. You can pull that shit with the people that live in Canton that don't care.
Well, and I'll tell you that today when Hank put in his he put in a thing today, and it is for discovery, and the first thing on it is the audit.
That's gonna blow up in his face. He ain't too bright. I understand why he's doing it, because he's gonna say, look, this company turned around and said, hey, Canton police did the correct did the correct investigation. Okay.
Yep.
Well, you know what? I hope that AJ and David have a copy of this report to turn around and refute it. Go bam.
Amen. I hope it happens.
Yeah, here's the Dee Dee posted it today. It says, now comes the Commonwealth in the above caption matter indicates that this date, the following discovery materials have been provided to the defendant through defense counsel. 1, copy of Canton audit report dated April 2025, which was previously provided by email on April 6th, and it's Bates stamped, whatever. And then an updated CV of Shannon Burgess, apparently. He's got more qualifications now all of a sudden. A copy of the transcript of Janet and William Reed's interview, Body in the Snow, copy of transcript of defendant's interview, keeper of the records for NBC. I mean, it's all sound bites after that. But
right,
the fact that
that's what they want, though. They want those. That's their game going forward.
Yeah,
that's the thing. If he had anything that was to prove she was guilty, he would not be going after sound bites.
Oh, without a doubt. Not only that, I hope that they turn around and say, okay, I really do hope they get Morrissey up on the stand. I doubt it's going to happen, but
wouldn't that be amazing? Get the popcorn, kids.
Mr. District Attorney, during your hostage video, you claimed that you had video of Karen striking Officer O'Keefe. Where's that video?
Where is it, sir?
Where is it? We've been waiting for how many years now?
It's
fucking 3 years.
The news had it up for a year saying you had it.
Yeah. No, I remember the first morning this happened, and I remember thinking that poor girl must feel like shit because I didn't know anything about it. And there's a dead guy, his boss police officer, and they said that there was ring camera. Legit, Channel 7 said there's ring camera showing that she hit her boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. It was all a fucking lie. And apparently Chris Albert and Julie Albert had something to do with that. They called the news.
Oh, I'm sure. Somebody called the news.
Speculation, but I heard it from a pretty good sauce. So
you have sauces?
Yeah. I have sauces.
I like sauce.
Yeah.
I need sauces.
I need some sauces.
I like sauce.
Yeah, right here. Hold on. Jay from Hall. He said, Channel 4, those mofos had me believe Cameron did it, saying that
Karen
was ringing. Oh, yeah. So he's saying that Channel 4 had him believe that that it was on video for months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting to see it also.
Yeah.
That would have been the smoking gun.
It doesn't.
I
It would have been.
actually, Jim, I believe that
Mm.
because they were the first and only company they let give their pitch, and then they decided to hire them. They said, "Oh, we don't need to hear anybody else."
Isn't one of the guys from Five Stones former Massachusetts State Police?
Sure is.
That's what I thought.
Sure is.
So instead of hiring an outside auditor,
right,
that has no game involved in it, nothing to gain, nothing to lose, you hire somebody, you hire a company that
You
has
hire a brother.
ties to Massachusetts State Police.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Right.
many
And let's not
coincidences.
forget that Rafferty ended up being on the committee
Yeah, no.
for the office.
Yeah, because
right.
they disbanded.
So if that isn't fucking suspect, I don't know what is. Hey, Plevin, do you hear that? She was on the Canton audit committee. You piece of shit. Sorry.
Listen, Plevin has an online detective degree, okay?
There were
a man sleuth.
You mean the man who
you
wrote
can't even sleuth
about the
Listen.
trials of the century, and there's only been one trial?
Listen, I hated day tours. So instead of going to detective classes in the city in Manhattan, I surely would have rather been on a computer and taken the courses for that month. You know?
It's right.
Clerk Jim says there are rumors in Financial News London articles from 2021, 2022 calling Five Stones U.S. fixers. And I have seen that myself. So
wow,
Interesting. Hold on.
That guy was you remember they ex-nayed other ones from like there was a company from like Colorado that was gonna come in and do it, but no, they picked someone that was from fucking Rhode Island and Massachusetts.
Well, you know what? If you think about it, you know what's also suspect? If you think about it, Massachusetts State Police had this new colonel or whatever he is. Okay, so we came from Jersey, from the Jersey State Police. And the Jersey State Police are no joke, all right? Those guys are no joke. But where was this guy from originally?
Right.
Rhode Island?
Yeah, Rhode Island.
So you're telling me in his time there that he has never bumped into any of the bosses from the Massachusetts State Police at a police chief conference here or a police chief conference there, okay? Now, right off the bat.
Bullshit.
Exactly. Right off the bat, what's his face should have been disciplined. Proctor's boss.
Tully.
Well, the one was on vacation. So granted, I know people are pissed off that he didn't get a hit for that. All right. Technically, if he's on vacation, it doesn't matter what Proctor sent him. He could turn around and plead ignorance. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. But there was another boss that was supervising the investigation. Okay. How come that guy wasn't disciplined? He was his direct supervisor. In the NYPD, there's a charge, and Mark Betterow can attest to this. It's called failure to supervise, which for a supervisor is the worst thing you can get in your career because it shows you do not know how to supervise people. If you're on probation, you get demoted back to cop. If you're off probation, what happens is they give you what's called highway therapy. They transfer you to the farthest command from your house. They change your days off. No overtime. You're paying a toll at least one way, and your career is over. You're not. You could take another civil service test, and they'll find a reason not to promote you. So failure to why this guy wasn't hit with failure.
Why is Fanning getting all of these promotions?
Well, okay. I'm glad you asked that. Civil service test. Are those tests up there civil service?
Yeah.
Can't stop it. You can't stop it. You can't stop him from being promoted because
Lank actually bit somebody and had felonies, and they said that he can never be promoted unless he's Lieutenant Lank now, right?
Yeah, but that's Canton, right? That's Canton PD.
Canton, yeah.
He did work with Albert.
All right. I understand that too, but here's the problem. We had a female sergeant that I used to work with, okay, who was part of her punishment for something that she was involved in was that she couldn't be promoted, okay? She took the lieutenant's test, passed, okay, and they didn't promote her. All right. The problem was when she filed the lawsuit, they said in the courts that you can't stop somebody from being promoted if it's a civil service promotion. So what they did was they didn't promote her. They made her a supervisor, special assignment. So she stayed a sergeant, but she got lieutenant's pay. So if it's a civil service test, you really can't stop them. If it's a discretionary promotion, like from cop to detective, or a discretionary promotion from them would be from lieutenant to detective lieutenant. That's a discretionary promotion. That they can stop. You can't stop a civil service test.
Right.
And that's 100% true here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand people are pissed off
But
about
even
that.
if because he had felonies, he would still get promoted.
He should have been fired.
Beth, I tend to bite.
Yeah.
He should have been fired.
I do.
Yeah.
I tend to bite. I can't help it.
He should have been fired.
Yeah.
Was not written in black and white.
Yeah, it probably wasn't because you can't stop somebody from getting promoted with the civil service test.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, civil service. Yeah, civil service law is. Yeah, you can't stop somebody.
Right.
Prince Leva, Calypso. I can't help it. I bite people. It's habit. I tell you, I can't.
I don't leave marks. Don't worry.
It's just a nibble. It's not a real bite.
Scott might break out in hives.
Oh, don't even start that again. Wow, really?
So it's like kinky. Oh my God. Charlie bit my finger. That is one of the funniest YouTube I've ever seen.
That's right, Calypso.
Prince Lever, you got me, girl. You got me. Look, Mickey bites
see,
too.
Louise bites. I plead the fifth.
I mean, come on.
Fifth, sixth, and seventh.
Please, yeah. Love something.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna have to get going because I'm starving.
Me too.
I need to
Scotty,
eat
will you come back on with us during the trial when it's like happening? You come up and talk about it?
Sure, as long as there's prime rib wrapped in bacon.
Oh yeah, you already know I'm prime rib wrapped in bacon. I'll dangle some in
Wow.
in the screen. Want some bacon? All right, guys. I love you. We will see you on the next one.
Have a good night, guys. Ladies, have a good one. Take care.
Thanks, Scott.